welcome to another episode of A Lost Cause. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus because Annie's been on holidays, but we're back.
And better than ever.
Better than ever. And today we are finally finishing with our Season 1 characters because in Season 1 we are introduced to Danielle Rousseau.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can't move on to Season 2 before talking about Danielle. Better known probably as just Rousseau, like people, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so how do we meet Danielle Rousseau?
Oh, it's a great episode, actually. Saeed goes, he goes out to explore the beach, pretty much. He finds this weird wire in the sand, follows it, and then pretty much gets booby-trapped by Rousseau.
Yes.
And then she brings him to her, hut sort of thing, and interrogates him, but they kind of become friends in the end.
And what is her backstory?
Wow, I feel so talking so much. She was pretty much shipwrecked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so was she intending to come to the island, or
No.
What happened?
No. They were looking for
I think they were looking for the Black Rock.
Yeah, they were looking for the Black Rock.
But she was part of an expedition.
A science
team. And we learn who else was on that expedition. Her husband.
Her
right?
husband.
Yeah.
I thought it was a trick question.
No, it's her husband, because Rousseau, when she's coming to the island, is actually pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's really interesting when she crashes on the island. It's already gonna get so complicated.
Yeah.
Jin.
Well, let's back up, because the first time we hear the story, it's just her telling Saeed, right? So we have to sort of take her word for it.
I was going to talk about the radio tower, but
yeah, please talk about the radio tower.
So she shows them how to get to the radio tower in the ending of season 3, but it's interesting because the person who actually showed her where it originally is Jin. Because time travel, duh.
Yeah, so we learn that a little bit later on.
But yeah, I really like that about her story.
Yeah, it's great how
full circle.
How they sort of incorporate Danielle Rousseau into the time travel later on. But, at the beginning, she's just kind of telling her story to Saeed, that they were shipwrecked on the island. And then once they got there, something bad started to happen.
Mm-hmm. She said everybody was infected and that she had to kill pretty much all of her team, and that she had to deliver her baby all by herself, and somebody took her baby.
So just horrible, that she arrives on the island with her husband, pregnant, and within the space of a few days,
is that her husband?
Well, it's the father of her baby. I don't know if they're married, but they do love each other, and, she has to kill him and her other team members, and then gives birth on the island only to have that baby taken from her. But you mentioned the radio tower, and so what is our first kind of exposure to the radio tower?
Well, they have this thing from the plane, right? And they are getting some interference or something, and they're like, we have to go find the signal.
So is it the radio,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a tech person, but they go on this kind of mini adventure, and they hear Danielle's distress signal that's been running for 16 years.
In a loop.
In French, and it says it killed them all. They were infected. Something like that.
It's in French. Yeah.
They're all dead.
Yeah, it's kind of freaky, really.
I didn't rewatching it with my brother. I didn't even remember that had happened.
Yeah. But it's kind of weird that it's been playing for so long, and so they think that's what's maybe interfering with the signal. Although we learn much later there's something else at play as well. So kind of we don't know what to think of Rousseau at first, because she comes across as very aggressive and distrustful and a little crazy, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But then how does our view of Rousseau change as even as season 1 goes on?
Well, she actually at the end of season 1 we don't like her.
At the very end.
But she is pretty helpful. Like she got them to the Black Rock to get dynamite, and she helped. She's always she has been there for 16 years, so she really knows the island well.
Yes.
And she's very good at making traps. Oh, I'm so sorry. Blooper. Yeah, she makes lots of traps.
But as we talked about in the Claire episode, Rousseau has a great sort of heroic moment in season 1.
Mm.
And, at first we think, oh, Rousseau had something to do with Claire's disappearance because she's got these scratch marks on her arm, and Claire has a flash.
Well, it was season 2.
Oh, was it season 2?
Well, that's when we find out what happened.
Oh, okay.
But it really did happen.
It did happen during season 1.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Claire's taken to this medical station, and Alex.
I think it is season 1 because she's still pregnant, isn't she?
Yes, but it's in season 2 when she remembers what had happened.
Okay. But doesn't she give birth to Aaron in season 1?
Yeah.
Isn't it before Aaron's born that she remembers?
No.
I didn't rewatch season
Aaron
1, so.
is sick, and that's why she wants to go to the medical station to get the vaccine.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah, so Alex actually helps her escape, and Claire's all drugged up or something. And then Rousseau also helps her escape without knowing that Alex had helped. Yeah. So Rousseau is pretty much the reason that Claire's still alive.
And yet at the time, we sort of have the wrong idea. Because
no, we understood at that episode.
Yeah, at that episode. But when we first see the flashback and the scratches on her arms, we think, she was trying to take Claire because she's trying to steal Aaron, which would be, almost understandable because her own baby was stolen.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of that, then later on, she actually does take Aaron and tries to make the trade, but she doesn't do it.
Because they're not there.
Right.
So, and tell the story of, what Rousseau, about the black smoke, basically. What's the significance of that?
Well, she saw the black smoke the day Alex was taken.
Yeah. And then much later on, I guess not that much later, in season, is it season 3? Or, when do we actually see what happened and how Alex was taken?
That's season 5.
Yeah, so quite a bit later we find out. And how did that play out?
Okay, you know what? You have that look on your face.
Someone's becoming a little paranoid.
Paranoid?
Yet I'm the one that's always accused of being Rosinski. This one over here is getting a little paranoid.
I can't believe this is happening. On camera, too.
But we do actually see the moment that Alex is taken. It's really hard to watch.
I don't have any troubles watching it. Ben is forced to go kill Rousseau and her baby, but he, being the hero of the show, stop, don't laugh. What is your problem?
Keep going, Annie.
Gracefully adopts Alex and saves her and raises her as his own.
Yeah, so as all things Ben, Annie has told a skewed version of the truth. But there is a little bit of truth in what she says. So initially, we learn that Ben did take Alex and raised her as his own daughter. And the normal reaction is to think very badly of Ben for doing that. And, I've always gotten a lot of satisfaction from, Rousseau, trapping Henry Gale in one of her traps and then, just getting him right through the shoulder. I just love it. And when she's he's one of them. And she's right. And little does she know, that is him. That's the man that took your baby. So we sort of think of Ben, in very bad terms. But Annie is correct in that this flashback, we realize, actually Widmore had ordered Ben to kill both
And
Rousseau and Alex, and like weird gawky teenage Ethan comes along. And
Why
then
does he look like that? It's nothing like. Okay.
And then when Ben sees Alex, and sees poor Rousseau, like, you know, he does actually have a moment of humanity there and lets them both live. And so truly, like, I mean, obviously it's better, even though it was wrong for him to take Alex, like, it's better to let them live. So it's not, like, it is a slightly redeeming moment for Ben. But from Rousseau's point of view, it's just awful because she loses her daughter and spends the next 16 years kind of looking for her or waiting for any glimpse of her. But it's a bit frustrating when we have this flashback to the medical station because, like, we know that it's Alex.
Well, Claire tells her.
Yeah, Claire tells her, but, like, Claire got to see her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Rousseau didn't, and they just kind of... I mean, but I just love that moment where they do explain it to her and tell her, like, you know, her name was Alex. And then Rousseau finally has some news of her daughter.
Yeah. And then the first time Rousseau actually, like, sees Alex is in season 3 when they, in the man from Tallahassee. And, oh my, like... I guess muscle memory, because I was that close to saying the man from
I know. I thought that's what you were going to say.
Yeah, she sees Alex help Locke blow up the submarine.
But it's a very touching moment that she finally gets to lay eyes on her daughter.
Which is like such a... No other show would... I wouldn't be saying this for any other show. So.
And it's also just such great casting. Because
they look so much alike.
Yeah.
Should I save the fun fact for the Alex episode? Oh, screw it. She had to wear blue contacts to make herself look more like both Rousseau and Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so does Alex know that Ben is not her dad?
No, but towards the end she has some suspicion about it.
And then who ultimately tells her about her mother?
Well, Ben does, but so does Saeed.
So does Saeed. He says something like, you look like your mother, or something like that. And like, Alex is just completely taken aback and very curious as to what he's talking about.
Which makes me wonder, like, what was she told as a kid? Because,
exactly.
And how did the others, like, treat her?
Well, something that I find so interesting about Alex is that it's really the nature versus nurture question, because... You know, she was taken at such a young age. She's raised to be an other. She's raised to be Ben's daughter. And yet, she's so much like Rousseau, you know. And it's really fun to kind of watch her, like, oh, she also sets these little booby traps. And she also, you know, has these kind of just creative ways of doing things. And, like, doesn't totally feel like she belongs. So, like, why isn't Alex kind of a true other? When she was raised to be one of them. And it's kind of that nature, I think, influence. But it just makes it all the more satisfying when we finally get the moment we've been waiting for and they actually are kind of reunited. And it's like this beautiful moment and yet weird, because I think the first thing that Rousseau says to Alex is like, help me tie him up about Ben. So... But that's, you know, it's pretty typical for Rousseau. But let's talk about Rousseau's good qualities. What do you like about Rousseau?
She's great. Like, she's very helpful. She's a very tragic person, which just makes, like, you just want to give her a hug.
Yes, because you feel so bad for her. So she's like brave, she's resourceful. We talked about how she just kind of invents these ingenious traps everywhere. And sometimes like she catches the wrong people, but you've always got to be aware of these traps. And like she is suspicious, but that is justified, right? Because look at what's happened to her. She doesn't trust anybody. You know, she thinks everybody's kind of an other. And yet, despite that, she does still help Saeed, and she helps Claire. And, she's not just completely out for herself. So I think it's pretty remarkable how Rousseau, I'm not saying her mental health is great, because how could it be after 16 years on that
But she
island?
didn't go, full-on squirrel baby.
That's the thing. That's exactly what I mean. Claire has only been there for 3 years, and fine, she's been, skipping through time, and things have been crazy. But, Rousseau actually does a pretty great job of holding it together all that time. And is a very sort of useful person to bring along, on these adventures and little trips. So one game that Annie and I like to play when we're on long road trips is one of us will think of a lost character, and then the other one has to guess who it is by asking a series of questions. And so usually how it'll start.
Why don't we do an
Okay,
example?
so let's do an example.
Okay.
Okay, do you have someone in mind?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I'll go like this, Oceanic 815?
No.
Other?
Yes.
Goodwin?
Wrong. Ask more questions so that
Alive or dead?
Alive.
Alive? An other that's alive. Richard?
No.
Ben?
Yes.
Okay.
Come on.
So that's how you play. But usually, as you saw through our just great demonstration.
Well, I usually cheat a lot.
I'm trying to, by the process of elimination. So you start with Oceanic 815, and meaning are they a survivor? And then other, because, most people fall into those two categories. There's also Dharma Initiative. There's also flashback people that we only see in flashbacks. But sometimes you can really...
And that's how I cheat.
Yeah. But sometimes you can really stump the other person with either Rousseau or Desmond, because they sort of fall into a different category altogether, right? Mm-hmm. They weren't on the plane. They're not an other. And Rousseau is particularly interesting. Same as Desmond, I guess. They both kind of shipwrecked onto the island is how they got there. So sort of
Richard
a different... And Richard, yeah. The three characters who are all great. I bet you wish that you could shipwreck on the island.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'd rather just start as the Dharma Initiative and then just take over, but...
I guess that way you could be in every group. You could be Dharma Initiative and then an other.
And then maybe I could even do some Ethan Goodwin action and pretend to be a survivor of 815.
Mm-hmm. Or you could be Dharma Initiative and then an other and then a flashback Dharma Initiative again.
What?
If you were say you joined the Dharma Initiative, shortly before the purge, that'd be bad timing. Mm-hmm. But you wouldn't have been there in the 70s, right?
Uh-oh.
Excuse me for the interruption. Probably just a fan calling in to express their views. But we're not taking calls right now. So, sorry.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Well, I've kind of been dreading this moment where we talk about Rousseau's death scene, because yes, she is reunited with Alex. They have a few scenes together spread out over several episodes, I guess, right? But then what happens to Rousseau and what happens to Alex?
They just die just like that.
Yeah. In such a shocking way.
It's just Kimi. Kimi just shoots Carl and Danielle. Just like that. And then the next day, Alex is dead because he just killed her. Just shot her.
Yeah. So these events take place, we know the freighter is there. Widmore has sent a bunch of people to get Ben. And
Ben tells them to go to the temple because he knows they'll be safe there.
So for a little while we have this kind of nice peaceful period in
the barracks.
The barracks, yeah. Also known as New Otherton.
Or Dharmaville.
Well, it's not, it's
it used to
the
be.
Former Dharmaville. And so, this is kind of Locke's followers. And so we have like Claire and Sawyer and Hurley, but also Rousseau, Alex, and Alex's boyfriend, Carl.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell.
Yeah. And let's actually talk a little bit about Carl.
No, we're saving it for the Alex podcast.
Okay, we'll talk more about Carl during the Alex episode. So then there's a scene where Ben is like sitting there in his house, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. And he's being held hostage.
He's basically being held hostage, but he's talked his way out of the basement or the whatever. And so
I made his house in Minecraft. I'm really proud of myself. It's hard to make it a square.
Yeah, I'm sure. There's lots of little like stairways and yeah, Ben's place is quite complicated and very cool. But anyway, he's sitting there watching Rousseau, Alex, and Carl, and like Carl kind of has his like arm around Alex. And we know that Ben, and we'll talk about this more, like
he has some issues.
He's tried to keep them apart, like very much. And so we sort of wonder, like, what are you up to, Ben? Like, 'cause he's just kind of looking at them. But then he says, I want you to go to the temple because, they're after me and I want you to be safe. And Rousseau agrees that it would be safer for her at the temple. But sadly, on their way to the temple, they're ambushed.
Yeah.
And first Carl is shot and then Rousseau.
Yeah. And then they just take Alex pretty much as a hostage sort of negotiation.
Yeah. And like the very first time I saw it, it did cross my mind like, oh, did like Ben set this up to like kill off Rousseau and Carl? But actually, no, not at all. They were just attacked. And then sadly, Alex is also killed by Kimi, which is like probably the worst
thing in
moment on the show. Like it's kind of the most shocking, upsetting, I think.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's like, but it's all, so it would probably be that, like young Ben getting shot and that scene where they're in the bushes with little Aaron. I don't know, something about kids like getting in danger, like, oh, what if he made like a sound? He would just be dead.
And it's just so horrible because like Alex is pleading for her life and pleading with Ben to help her. And Ben is just really bluffing, and saying like, oh, like do what you want with her, like she's not even my daughter.
But it's not his fault.
No, and it is just a play. Like he doesn't mean it. Like we know he doesn't mean it. But he's just kind of trying this in desperation, and it backfires, and Kimi kills her.
Yeah, it's just like one of the craziest moments.
Because on every show, there's sort of a line that you sort of think, oh, they're not going to cross that, right? Like,
and I did wonder if I was going to keep on watching it after that.
Really?
Because I was like, this is insane.
Yeah. Because you just have this expectation that even on a show like Lost, where they do push the envelope, they do shock you by, like, killing off Boone and Shannon and all these characters. But then there's still sort of a sense of, yeah, but they won't go that far though. Like they won't kill the puppy, they won't kill, like
they didn't kill the puppy.
No, but you know what I mean? You sort of have this kind of assurance like, oh, they're not going to go that far. And I think we all felt that way about Alex, that as an audience you're like, well, I mean, they're not going to kill Alex. And then they do. So it is really shocking. But why do you think they did that?
So that we would be mad at Kimi, because otherwise it's kind of like, what's the point? I mean, for weird watchers who don't like Ben.
Well, and it's tough because, like, Ben was sort of the established villain up to that point. And so now they have to go, like, really well and beyond to have, like, a worse villain, right? And it's Kimi, but also a little bit Widmore because it's on
definitely
his
a lot
orders.
Widmore.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done a lot of bad things. He wanted to kill baby Alex.
So it sets up for this kind of unexpected...
What's with him and just killing people? Like, why?
He's pretty heartless. Like, I mean, unlike Ben kills a lot of characters, but, like, at least he's battling his conscience a little bit, like that you see that. Whereas Widmore just seems to be a kind of stone cold killer and doesn't show any remorse. But it's really all to kind of, as horrible as it is, it's to set up this sort of turn of events where Ben and like the other cast members kind of join forces.
The Losties.
The Losties to defeat Kimi, and so there's like that scene at the Orchid where they're actually working together, which is kind of like really satisfying, actually. But this is the Rousseau episode, and so in honor of Rousseau, Annie, why don't you show us?
It's commercial break time.
So this is this week's art installment.
Oh, we can't see. There you go.
Yeah.
It took me so long to figure out how to do a shotgun because my parents said I'm not allowed to go on screens, so it was like so hard.
But let's take one closer look.
Yeah.
Just so that everybody can
So
really
we got
see.
the shotgun and like the tank top and the off the shoulder.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's
It's
Rousseau.
hard with this really bad lighting.
Well, I think you were just holding it like I would hold
You know
it
what?
like this.
You don't get to see that now because of your bad lighting and your bad. It's shout out time. You can say
No,
the
before
shout-out.
we do the shout out, I just wanted to say R.I.P. Rousseau.
R.I.P. Rousseau. Justice for Rousseau.
Justice for Rousseau. Except if you were really going to get justice for Rousseau,
This is just breaking.
the justice would involve Ben. So I don't know if you really want that.
What?
Well, justice for Rousseau would be like something happening because Ben kidnapped her daughter. So.
But hasn't he gone through enough? What
Has he? Well, that's a good question for another time.
For just like a long, long awaited time.
So we, have to say goodbye to Rousseau, but have we seen the last of Rousseau? No, because we see her again as sort of flashback Rousseau. And so you started telling us about this.
Yeah, so when they're time traveling. Okay, so let's just start from the beginning. Ben killed Kimi, as he should, which actually exploded this freighter that Desmond, Michael, and Jin were on. Desmond got off in time. Michael was just going to be like, oh no, I'm going to die. No one cares. And Jin was about to get back on this helicopter that was taking a bunch of people off the island, but he didn't make it. So the thing blows up. Michael dies. But Jin actually survives,
but we don't know that at the time. And Sont is like screaming and like she thinks she's
so
dead.
loud.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And then we see in a later episode that he actually is alive. He made it back to the beach with this team of like Rousseau's team, and because the island had been going through time because Ben turned the wheel. It's just so complicated. And so he's with a 20-year-old Rousseau?
We see like a 20-year-old Rousseau.
Is she 20? Like, how old
she's
are we
pretty
thinking?
young. Yeah. I think that's about right. Although, well, actually, if it was 30 years ago. No, it's not 30 years ago, right? It's like 16 years ago.
Yeah.
At first. Because remember...
she doesn't seem like she's just 30 on the island.
No, she's definitely older than 30. Yeah.
Maybe she's 30.
Well, I don't think so because, like, Alex is 16, right? So it had to be at least 16 years ago.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That Jin goes back in time. It probably is exactly 16 years. We don't really know because, remember, Ben's, like, plan was to move the island, which had the effect in this case of, like, moving the island and certain people through time. And so Jin is one of those people. He gets kind of caught.
I think it's the candidates. I think it's all the candidates get moved too, and because that would explain why Sun doesn't move. I don't think Sun was the Quan.
I think that's a good theory because it would explain why Sun, is sort of left out of all of that, but why Jin does travel with them. So, like you said, he meets a young Rousseau, and she's lovely. Like,
she's really great.
Like, he washes up, he's all sunburned and hurt, and she's very, very helpful to him. She speaks...
I think the rest of her team doesn't want her to, like...
Yeah, they're a little bit cautious, like, who is this? And they all speak French, right? And so this is probably a good time for our shout-out
You
of
can
the
do
week,
the shout-out.
which is just the French language.
Well, also French immersion schools, because
And-
we both went
yeah.
to one, and we can understand what.
Yeah, French immersion school, which enabled us to understand Rousseau's transmission,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't need to read the subtitles when her crew is talking. So, so yay French.
Yay French, but I'm so glad I'm done with it.
Well, and shout out to French immersion in elementary school, because that's the way to do it. That's how I did it.
That's how
That's
I'm
how
doing
Annie did it.
I just graduated grade 8.
Yeah,
so.
and now Annie's going to go to high school and breeze through core French. It's going to be so easy for her because she's got the immersion. So,
Well, I'm not allowed to take it this year because I'm too good.
Yeah, but you can probably take it later and start right in grade 11 or 12. That's what I did. In grade 10 I took grade 11 and 12 French or something. But so first benefit, getting to understand Rousseau.
Mm-hmm.
Second benefit, acing core French in high school. So yay French immersion.
Yay French immersion sometimes. Not a big fan of my school though.
Yeah. Also, the decimals are weird because they're commas. So it's a little confusing in math. So, shout out to French.
Shout out to French. Also, we're going to do a new segment called What's Going On in the World Around Us, which you can explain. There's 2 things, remember?
What are they?
So, there's a new Superman movie out.
Oh, yes. Okay. So, there is a new Superman movie out. What is it called?
I don't know. I don't care. Sorry, Dad.
Is it just... Yeah, I'm sorry. I should really know this. But it's a new Superman movie, and it's got lots of characters. And one of the actors, I think he plays Guy Gardner. Boy, at least I got that right.
Yeah.
And he's played by Nathan Fillion.
I only know who he is on Lost.
Who was on Lost as?
Kevin.
Who is?
Kate's ex-husband, pretty much.
Remember when Kate was being Monica, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she got married to some guy. That's the guy, Kevin. And so Nathan Fillion shows up at this big red carpet premiere. Everyone's all excited about this movie, all the hype. It's #1 at the box office. And who was his date? Alex! Tanya Ramond. And she's wearing this satin green dress. And so it was
She looks like she had so much fun.
Yeah, and so it's kind of a Lost reunion, even though they didn't have any scenes together, but they're both Lost alumni, I guess I should say. And just kind of a cool thing.
Okay, next one.
Is this the Sabrina?
Yeah. So I, got on the internet, was doing my daily research when I found out Sabrina Carpenter adopted a puppy, I think it's a golden retriever puppy. And she named it Goodwin. So shout out to Goodwin.
Shout out to Goodwin. Another thing we could add, current events, is that there's this sort of, I don't know if it's a meme or it's a thing that's going around, this theory that the best relationships are made up of one person in the relationship is the golden retriever and the other person is the black cat. But Annie and I were talking about this, and it doesn't really seem to apply to the Lost romances very well. So that's okay. There's lots of examples of it on shows and stuff, but not really Lost. So we're not really sure where we land on that one.
Yeah, we'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah, but we do welcome your theories as to are there any golden retriever black cat couples on Lost?
Discuss. Kind of Rose and Bernard, right?
I think that was the only one that we thought, maybe did apply. Yeah. I don't know, Sawyer and Juliet, is Sawyer's...
They're both black cats.
They're both kind of black cats. That's the problem with Lost. A lot of black cats, right? Because everybody is so troubled.
I never realized this until I was trying to point out to Donna who everybody is in Lost. But there's a lot of male characters with dark hair. There's no blondes.
Interesting. Okay, what about Carl and Alex? Maybe. Golden retriever. Black cat?
Maybe.
A little bit. Yeah, well, we'll come back to this idea. But, so we've talked about flashback Rousseau, And it's also interesting to see flashback Rousseau because it confirms her story. Like everything she told Saeed was pretty much true, and we watch it unfold. And like Annie said, it's actually Jin that takes her to the radio tower.
So full circle.
Full circle, which we love.
We do love.
And then even more full circle is when we see Sideways Rousseau.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do you want to expand on that? I feel like I've done most of the talking.
So in the Sideways, Rousseau actually gets to raise Alex and be her mom. And so when we meet Rousseau and Alex in the Sideways, Alex is kind of the star pupil of Dr. Ben Linus, who's the history teacher. He's like her favorite teacher. She thinks he's great. And Rousseau is her mom, but she's a single mom. And
working 2 jobs.
Working 2 jobs, but still has time to make coq au vin for supper. And Alex is trying very hard to get into Yale, and so she needs like tutoring, and Ben Linus has like a study group, and so it's all great. And Rousseau looks so nice. She's like nicely groomed, and she's like wearing heels and makeup and a dress. So it's probably super fun for that actress to actually, get to look her best. And then there's like, tell us what happens.
Oh, yeah, the horrible.
Is it horrible?
I don't know.
I thought you liked it.
It's weird and bad and good.
Yeah, so the weirdest part of the Sideways is how different Ben is, in that he keeps trying to save John Locke instead of kill him, which is like, what are you doing, Ben? But yeah, he actually gets injured himself in his attempt to rescue Locke.
What are the odds he gets injured?
Yeah. And so Alex takes pity on him and like invites him over for dinner. And Rousseau comes to pick up Alex at school, and she insists that he come over for dinner. And there might be like
there's something there. There's something there, but it might just be Alex. Like it might just be
no, because like she says, like Rousseau says, next time I won't use so many onions, because like
he was tearing up.
He was tearing up.
She went on and on about how like he's the closest thing Alex has had to a father.
Yeah. Which is like really cool, because what we love about the Sideways is that it's sort of a redemption like place.
But my concern is what happens when Alex and Danielle wake up.
Yeah, like it's hard to think about that, but it's nice in the moment that they all 3 of them get to have this nice moment. Because, say what you will about Ben, like stealing Alex, like he does love her. Like so.
Oh yeah.
So you have 2 people, Ben and Rousseau, that they have one thing in common, is that they really do love Alex and love her like a daughter, And so there is this like beautiful moment where Rousseau is kind of acknowledging that, like you're the closest thing she has to a dad. And so he starts to tear up.
Which I think is a bit of a stretch, but it's okay.
And then she says, next time I'll use for your onions, as though like there'll be more dinners. And there is just this little flash of like, oh, what?
I don't know. I don't like it. I want to know what happened in that other flashback, because I'm certain it had something to do with Annie. I just know. There had to be.
Yeah. So we don't really know, because like Ben decides not to join everybody in the church, and so he's going to stick around. But that raises like disturbing questions, because when Alex and Rousseau remember, they're going to remember that like beloved, teacher Ben like kidnapped her when she was a baby. So
he did the right thing.
He did the right thing under the circumstances, but you can understand why like Rousseau can't forgive him, because she lost all that time with her daughter, and fine, she got to like find her, but they didn't really have very much time together. And so I think that we are nearly ready for this week's hot take.
So my hot take is, it's so loud out there. My hot take is that Alex wouldn't have like been that much better off with Rousseau on the island.
Or is your hot take that she actually is better off with the others?
Yeah, I think she is better off with the others. I mean, think about it. They have all the stuff like a child needs to survive. because they have like a warm. I'm assuming the barracks have like heating.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
cooling
It
and
seems
stuff.
pretty civilized, actually.
They have water. They have running healthy water. They have good food. They probably have like, formula for this little baby. But I mean, like, chances are. I mean, Rousseau said to Claire that if Aaron is infected, then she's gonna have to kill Aaron. So what if Rousseau did think that Alex was infected and she did kill her? Like, it's really hard to tell what was going on because she is somewhat crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, we don't, even if Alex had never been infected and there was no suggestion of that, it would have been very hard to raise a baby by herself. Like, we see the way that Rousseau is living when Ben finds them, and it's not a good situation. I mean, it's a little bit different with Claire and Aaron because there's a whole community there, there's a doctor there.
But she's all alone.
But Rousseau is all alone, fending for herself, would probably have to leave Alex unattended for long periods of time to, like, go hunt or, whatever. So there is an argument that Alex was better off growing up in a community, having a relatively normal childhood. She's got a swing set, she's got a backyard, she meets Carl. I mean, and like, good for Alex for kind of thinking for herself growing up. She doesn't just buy right into everything the others are doing.
Well, she's a little rebellious.
Yeah, she's got that rebellious streak, and I think it's just something she inherited. But, I mean, who's to say she would have even survived with Rousseau? So, a controversial opinion, but, like, I think there is some merit to it.
And let's face it, Widmore would have gone and killed them.
And if it wasn't...
Ethan was very eager to, like, go do the task.
Yeah.
So I mean, let's be honest.
So,
didn't look so good for...
I hate to say it, but, like, justice for Ben, because without Ben, Alex and Rousseau wouldn't even be around.
She's learning.
I've said justice for Ben before. These are the signs I asked you to watch out for. Remember? Just check in on me every now and then. But I see we have reached the 42-minute mark, and so we will conclude. This has been a great ride through Season 1. We've now covered all of the Season 1 characters and are just about ready to move on to Season 2. So please stay tuned.
It's not really like you have a choice.
And even kind of cool to say your line.
See you in another life, brother.
Because very soon we will talk about the wonderful character who says that. Desmond.
Okay, bye.
But for now, namaste.
And see you in another life.